Welcome back, citizens, to episode 5 of Enter the Ultraverse card pack review. We're going to be opening up another Cosmic Cartel pack today, so we'll see how lucky we might be this time again. So if you notice, I have an extra Dark Tech pack that's over here. Won this in a Cardania Marbles game that happened this Wednesday. Now, typically those are on Friday, but great opportunity to come out, hear from Captain, and see what's going on with the project, as well as win a lot of fun prizes, including potential packs. So would love to see you guys there if you aren't normally a participant. But for today, we are going to be opening up this Cosmic Cartel, which was actually furnished by a community member. White Lightning ended up letting us open up one of their packs. So unfortunately, I don't get to keep any of the cards from today, but thank you for the community members showing their support. And without further ado, let's get into the pack opening. Alright, and we're back now that the pack has loaded in. Our standard 7 cards. This is a Cosmic Cartel pack, so we'll have 3 custodian cards, 3 spacer cards, and 1 neutral, which will be going again to White Lightning. Thanks again for letting me open this up live for everybody. So we will do what we did last time. We'll go from left to right. That seemed to have good effects. Maybe I won't jinx it. And let's get started.
Common.
Okay, a common mechanical verse.
Rare.
Ooh, Melodious Mantrap. Haven't seen this one yet. I love the art on this.
Common.
Alright, so nothing great with the custodians. All 3 custodians back to back. So we got 3 spacers and a neutral left.
Rare.
Warp in.
Common.
Sidewinder neutral.
Common.
Uh-oh. White Lightning. Got down to 1 card left. Let's see if we can get you something better than a rare.
Grand.
Hey, okay, we did get a grand, a whole breach. So not the best pack I've seen. We did get a grand, thankfully. So White Lightning, thanks for letting me open this up. We'll be back in just a second to talk through these cards. Alright, and now we're back into the collection to see the cards and talk through them. We'll go from left to right, starting with the custodians, and we'll end up over at Hull Breach. So let's start here with Mechanical Verse. This is a 3-spirit common spell with the effect Verse. All artists you control gain 0/1 for this turn. Alright, so this gets back to the musical component and mechanism behind the Custodian faction. So yet again, I'm going to reference Rogrask's video on the design overview for the game. So here in his Custodians page, you see the Songs of Sentience are going to be a major theme for the Custodian faction. In that Custodians, completing songs requires playing a sequence of cards in order, and when completed, an element of harmony is summoned, providing benefits to the battlefield. And you can have different songs based off of the style of the deck or what effect you want to trigger. So this part here, completing songs requires playing a sequence of cards in order, where our Mechanical Verse is going to come into play. So this is going to be an enabler for some of those songs, progressing the song towards completion. It is 3-spirit, doesn't really have much of an impact unless you have a bunch of artists on the board. Even then, it's only +0/+1 and still only for this turn. So a fairly weak effect for a decent spirit cost of 3, but it does progress that song mechanic. So I'm really interested to see how powerful those songs end up becoming, and how common it is to get those sorts of mechanics pushed through that completed song. So anyway, core component of the Custodian faction mechanic and Mechanical Verse. Let's move on to Melodious Mantrap. This one is a 3-spirit, 3/2 body. It is a rare, and it's a part of the Elemental and Artist tribes. So again, back to the Mechanical Verse, it is an artist for this, so it would get buffed. And it is a 3/2 body again with the effect, while in a song, any creature damaged by this becomes entangled. Okay, so only 2 spirit, so it's not really going to be trading into more than probably 1 creature. But with a 3 attack, 2 health body, it'll be able to trade with early to medium game creatures. It could be used a little bit later in the game, more as a tempo type play to freeze a larger creature. If, let's say, they've got a big 10-10 on the board, and you're just trying to keep it from going face against your citizen, and if you have a Melodious Mantrap on the board, you can play into it, sacrificing your Mantrap, but ensnaring or entangling that large creature for a turn. So it seems pretty situational. Does have the artist tag, so depending on how foundational or how functional artists are in the custodian play deck, we'll see how well that fits. Moving on to our last custodian card for the pack is a 4-spirit common spell called Embiggen and Enrage. Okay, so we see this cute little puppy becomes this more monstrous type creature here. It is a spell that has the effect, give an elemental you control taunt and +0/+2 and XX there, so it may have an additional effect to it. 4 spirit for +0/+2 and taunt seems pretty weak, or I'll say pretty expensive, so I'm thinking they're going to be playing around with these numbers and or giving a different effect. Something that gives taunt and +0/+2 is a decent effect, but again, it's even more restrictive in that it has to be an elemental that this is played on, and it has to be one that's on the board, which, if we look back at the Melodious Mantrap, it is an elemental, so you could play this spell Embiggen and Enrage on the Melodious Mantrap, but this seems pretty situational. May fit into a couple of decks, or if they were to boost the power by modifying that effect, could see some play. Otherwise, seems kind of weak to me. Alright, on to Warp In. 3-cost rare spell with the effect search your deck for a support. It costs 3 less. Okay, so similar to a couple of other cards that I've played with in Hearthstone before, where you pay a spell cost to pull a card from your deck, and it reduces that card by the cost of this spell. So typically this effect is pretty powerful, because when you play this, you're going to be getting a support, and effectively you're going to be paying it for the exact same price that you normally would, because you're paying 3 spirit to pull it from the deck, and it costs 3 less once you do so. So I think this is going to be a pretty useful card, pretty good utility card, especially if you're running a deck that requires or is really dependent on a specific support card that enables certain key factors for your deck or your win condition. So like this. Let's see what else we see. We'll come back to, we'll just do something under here, I guess. Finish out the spacers here in a second. So this is our neutral card for the deck. Kind of ho-hum type of a body, 2 spirit, 3/2. So nothing amazing, pretty cheap in the spirit, so could be in some early aggressive decks. Effect Necrotic. Okay, so this is essentially going to kill, guaranteed to kill one body on the other side of the board, as long as there's no shielding effect that's involved with the other side. So Necrotic, once you put damage from the Sidewinder onto a different creature, it effectively doesn't matter how much health that creature has, it's going to kill it. So this 3 here might as well only be for the custodian or for the citizen that you would be attacking face with. Any other creatures you attack in, this might as well be an infinity symbol with the effect of Necrotic. Alright, moving on to Station Clerk. This is a 6-cost common human merchant with a 2/4 body. So 6 cost, 2/4 is pretty low. Let's see what effect we have. Effect Engage. So on play, you spend 2 coins to charge your ship battery by 2. And something that says Weary Scab. Not sure what that is. Totally not even sure how to guess about that. But again, we're seeing the Spacer class that interacts with the ships specifically. So spend 2 coins to charge your ship battery by 2. This will help get your ship to its to enable its weapons faster. So if you're using the weapons, or you need to use the weapons as a board clearing, or whether there will be an effect to then essentially damage the citizen to maybe try to finish the game, those 2 battery points could be the difference between wiping a board, getting, or if you're not able to, just losing the game if you're not able to clear a large board. So again, depends on how important it is to get the ships up and running, but again, I like how this fits into the Spacer faction type of feel. They're wheeling and dealing with the coins, they're interacting with their ships. It all just really seems to fit very well. And finally, our grand card from the pack is a 3 spirit cost grand spell called Hull Breach. It has the effect destroy target support card. Okay, so earlier we saw the spacers had an effect of being able to pull a support card from their deck to be able to play it. Now we see they have this effect that allows them to interact directly with an opponent's support and more so effectively, or not effectively, but essentially just destroy a targeted support card. So you get to choose which one. If they've got 2 supports on the board, you get to choose between the 2. It's not random. So this seems like a pretty good effect, especially if making an assumption that support cards end up being very influential in games, and being able to remove them is going to be difficult to do. They're going to be fairly sticky. So this could definitely be a tech card in a deck to specifically address different decks that are reliant upon support cards. So if there's a meta setup where there's 1 or 2 decks that are very powerful that rely on a support to enable that deck's mechanics, this will be teched in to help win against those specific decks. I like it. Alright guys, well, some interesting dynamics here, especially with the spacers and the support card interactions. Also again, seeing the spacer faction lore interacting with the different ships. Some interesting interactions here. Embiggen and Enrage works with this Melodious Mantrap. Same thing, the Mechanical Verse would end up buffing the Melodious Mantrap. We see some cards that can help enable the Custodian faction's main mechanic with their verses and their songs. So again, starting to get more of a picture of how these factions might end up working, what their playstyle will be, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Is there a mechanic in the Custodians or Spacers that you're really interested in, or even a different faction? Let me know down in the comments, and otherwise, thank you citizens for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.